Get your pen and paper because class is in session. Hi guys, welcome to your favorite spot on YouTube. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. For my OGs, welcome back. My name is Mary J, and I talk about product management, skincare, career improvement, personal development, faith, and anything I find interesting and I think you will find interesting too. And I know that that's why you're here because you clicked on this video because you found it interesting. So let's get into the video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the interview process, what to do before the interview, what to expect during an interview, how to dress to an interview, and all of the things that are tied to interviews. So get your pen and paper because class is in session. Just as an FYI, I might not be going in depth into some of the points that I would be stating. I'll just give like a general overview, like a generic overview of some of these points, and eventually I will make videos stating them in depth and going more in depth into them. So if there's anything that you are expecting, or if there's anything that you're not clear on, or if there's any one of these topics that you need a separate video on, please let me know and I will make those videos. Okay, so let's go. So the first part is always preparation. And what are you supposed to do during your preparation phase? The first thing that you want to do is research the company. Find out their mission and their vision. Find out like the kind of products that they have, the kind of products that they have to offer. Find out their customer base. Find out anything that you think is important about the company that you can key into the kind of answers that you'll be giving them during the interview. Anything that is available on the internet, if it's even a company that has an app, you can even sign up, try to check out their app, see the different things that you can find on the app. If it's on their web page, you can check it out. You can check out their websites generally. Just research any kind of information that you can get on the company that would help you to ace the interview, that will help you to be better during the interview. You get me? Another thing that you should do is go back to the job description. Try to study the job description. Try to understand what is required of the job. Try to understand the kind of things that are required, the kind of skills that are required, the kind of activities that you'll be doing at the job, so that when you are answering questions, when you're talking about your experience, you'll be tailoring what you're saying to the job description and to what is needed and to what is asked. Another thing that you should do is prepare the questions that you're going to ask the interviewer. Now, one thing that people don't realize is an interview process is a two-way process. As you are asking, as they're asking you questions, asking you about your experience, asking you about different things, you also should prepare questions that you're going to ask them. You can ask them questions about like what the next couple of months will look like for you in the role, what the next 3 to 6 months will look like for you in the role, what success looks like in the role, what kind of team you will be working with. You can ask about their culture. You can ask for like the budgets of the, just ask questions that you know would make them know that this person has sense and this person is looking forward to the growth of the company. You can even ask them what kind of challenges they have that you can fix like immediately, what kind of things that they'll be looking out for you to do in like the first 3 months. Do you get? That way you'll be able to like set the ball rolling, and you'll even be able to reiterate how the skills that you have or how the experiences that you have will be able to key into what they actually need. Like you'll be able to sell yourself. So don't go for interviews and you're not asking questions. No, that's why you need to research. That's why you need to prepare adequately. And part of that preparation is preparing the questions that you would ask. One of the things that I do when I'm preparing, like when I'm trying to prepare my questions and prepare answers to the kind of questions that would come up, is try to have a document where I write the kind of questions that they are going to ask me and the kind of answers that I would be giving. That way, if I'm even revising, I can just go and open that document to look at like all of the answers that I've already written down and all of the kind of questions that I want to ask them. That way, it's easier for me to prepare for that interview. As part of your preparation, prepare answers to the common questions that are asked. One of the questions that would always be asked in any interview is, tell me about yourself. Here, at this point, you are telling them who you are, you're telling them how many years of experience you have in the role, you're telling them your achievements, you're telling them the kind of skills that you have, you're telling them things that are tied to the job that you are interviewing for. You're telling them about yourself. How many years of experience do you have? What skills do you have? What is your greatest achievement? Stuff like that would come into your introduction. And then when you are introducing yourself, when you're talking about your role, you start from your most recent role, the one that you're currently doing, or if you're out of a job, you start from the last job that you did and you work your way up. But always try to tally it to the job that you are interviewing for. Another thing we'll be talking about will be your experience, past and present. You might be talking about your strengths and your weaknesses. Those questions are behavioral questions that usually come up during interviews. So prepare answers for those types of questions so that when they ask you those questions, you're not caught off guard. You can also Google common questions that come up during the kind of interview that you're going for, the kind of role that you're going for. Also Google the kind of questions that can come up based on the job description that they have applied for. You can even use AI for these things, and they'll be able to tell you the kind of questions that you should expect from this kind of job description. The next part is the interview proper. Now you finish your preparation, it's time for you to go into the interview. This is not the time for you to go late. I know that there's most interviews, like at least the first interviews, most of them are usually virtual, and then the other ones are maybe physical. The best thing for you is to be already waiting. If it's a virtual call or if it's even a physical meeting, already get there early and wait. I try to test out the link at least 10 minutes to the meeting. So in case anything is not working right, or maybe your village people found you, you'll be able to send it back. And you'll be able to send an email that, oh, you're trying to get into the meeting, but you cannot get in. It's not like 1 minute to when the interviewer is already waiting. That's when you are now testing and you're seeing that you have issues with your internet or you have issues with Google Meet. Trust me, there are some times that everything is fine. You literally had a meeting, let's say 30 minutes before that your interview on the same laptop. Everything is okay. Then it's time for your interview and something is now, the one red light is showing somewhere and you don't know what to do. So always try to check out the link at least 10 minutes before, 15 minutes before, so that it gives you ample time to send out a message if you need to. And be early, be punctual. The next thing is your dress sense. You need to dress appropriately. I saw a TikTok or a video somewhere where somebody was talking about how like she wore shorts to an interview. And I understand that companies are trying to be more inclusive, but it is still a business casual environment. At least I know that most tech companies are business casual. So are even if you are going in a business casual way, the best thing is to dress up as if you're going to a place that you take seriously. This is not the time that you'll be wearing like spaghetti hand, you'll be wearing shorts and you're going for interview. Please now, please. So try to dress appropriately so that you are not turned back. The honest truth is you can even dress more than you expect. I've seen situations where people even wear suits to a company where they probably dress business casual. At least they will know that you're a serious person, and maybe the next time that you're coming, you already know that, okay, it's a business casual situation. One tip that you can also look at is try to look for videos of people from that company. Try to look at videos of events, try to look at speaking engagements of anybody from the company, try to look at their LinkedIn. You'll be able to get a sense of how they dress in the company and you'll be able to dress appropriately. But it doesn't hurt to dress up and then find out that, oh, they do business casual, and then you are like very, very formal. The next time you can be business casual. At least that way you are better. Not the one that you are now dressing business casual and they are a place where they are very, very formal. Then you have already shot yourself in the foot, because first impressions really matter. You get into an interview, you greet them, hi, hello. Interviewers usually start out greeting you first, like they start out the introduction and they start out the conversation. But it doesn't hurt for you to also say hi. It doesn't hurt for you to like be open in your gestures, be open and smile. It doesn't hurt, just to like let them see that, oh, you are a warm person. The fact that it's an interview does not mean that you now be carrying strong face up and down. No, You can smile. I always like smiling. Smiling always breaks ice. If you want to know more about how to like up your communication, I have a video up already. You can check it out so that you can also improve your communication. And there might be some questions that might be very difficult for you to answer. Let's say, for example, you did not prepare for that particular question. This is where your listening skills and your deduction skills will come in. Once you have heard the question, they've asked a particular question and you don't know the direct answer, you find the closest way you can answer that question and you answer it in that format. Now is not the time for you to now say, oh, I don't have the answer or I don't know. Try to find a way to answer the question where you can still answer the question in the closest possible way, but you might not necessarily be answering the question like hitting the nail on the head like the ones that you had prepared for. The interviewer will know that you have direct thinking skills, like you can think on the spot. There might even be some questions that you would not expect. There might be some technical questions that you might not expect. Just think about the closest possible way that you would have been able to answer the question, or the closest possible way that you'd be able to do that task, and that way you'll be able to answer the question. So try to listen in on the questions that you are asked and try to answer them in the closest possible way that you can hit the nail on the head. When you are asked to talk about your experience, use the star method. For every role that you have done, for like every job that you have done, the tasks that you want to speak about during your interview, maybe they say, oh, tell me about your experience working as a product manager in a company. They already know the job description. They already know what your day to day would look like as a product manager. Now is the time for you to use the star method. You are going to use the situation, the task that you did. So what was the situation that you were trying to work on? What was the task that you were assigned to do? What was your achievement? And what was the results that came out of that task? So an example is, let's say you tried to build an app to be able to help people pay bills. Now, that's the situation. You found out that there's a requirement to build an app. Now, the task is you building the app. How did you carry out the task? What did you do? If you had to talk to designers, if you had to talk to engineers to be able to complete it, talk about that. Also, talk about the achievements that came out of it. What did you learn? What skills did you hone during the task? And also the results. Maybe you were able to increase the revenue or the commissions of the company. Maybe you were able to get in more customers. That's a result that can come up. So always use the star method when you're explaining your experience. It helps put things into perspective and it helps you talk about the achievement, talk about the things that you have done and the things that you learned doing those tasks. You can also provide examples. You don't need to go in depth, especially if those things are things that are tied to like your company, things that you might not be able to divulge. You can give examples of situations. You can find like a way to answer it in a way that you're not divulging a lot. You're not divulging things, like you're not going to be in trouble if your boss was in that interview, even though that's like that's a very funny situation. But if your boss was listening in on that interview and they're trying to check if you are going to be spreading the company news and all of that, you are not going to be in trouble. Do you understand? Try to, at this point, they'll also be looking out for like the soft skills that you have claimed to have. So skills like communication, skills like teamwork, leadership. If you're a product manager, they'll be looking out for like leadership, they'll be looking out for teamwork. You're going to be talking a lot, so they'll be looking out for communication skills. So these are like times where you have to be actively listening, actively answering the questions in the best possible way. These are the times where you'll be giving examples of where you showed teamwork, collaboration, stakeholder management, or whatever skill has been requested, whatever skill you know is requested in that job. These are the times that you would show it. And as much as some of these interviews might be, you might be nervous, you might be anxious, try as much as possible not to show it, because that would affect the kind of answers that you would be giving. I remember an interview I took where I was very anxious and I was very nervous. And when they asked me to introduce myself, I said like one or two things and I was like, let me not bore you with the rest. And I'm like, bro, the interview at the end even told me that There's nothing like let me not bore you with the rest. Like, explain to me, tell me about your experience, tell me about yourself. This is not the time for you to now come and start saying you are boring. Like, they asked you the question, answer it in the clearest possible way, but nothing like the you're shortening your answer because you don't want to bore them with that answer. Please don't be like me, please. So whether it is a virtual interview, a physical interview, your body language and your eye contact needs to be on point. Your environment also needs to be on point. Especially if it's a virtual interview, make sure that your internet is stable. This is not the time for you to start fighting with MTN. May MTN not happen to us, but make sure that your internet is stable. Make sure that you are in a well-lit environment. Make sure that you are defocused. I know that Google Meet has a blurring, even Zoom too has like a blurring system, or like a system where you can add a background to your videos. Make sure that you use those effects so that you are the focus, you are maintaining eye contact with the interviewer, and that usually shows confidence. Like the way you speak, the kind of gestures that you do, how like you can put one or two jokes in between so that it's not so serious. You laugh. Even when you laugh, it helps you. Another thing that you can also do to catch your breath is to drink water, like occasionally, but obviously not mid-sentence. Not like you're saying, oh, I was able to achieve, you go and drink water and then you continue. That's not what I mean. What I mean is for you to be able to catch your breath, like times when you have noticed that, oh, your mouth is dry, or you're trying to think more on a particular question, you can like quickly take a sip just to collect your thoughts, or just to try to maintain the nervousness, or swallow a lump that has come to your throat. That way you'll be able to get back on track. Also, like I said in the beginning, those questions that you had prepared for the interviewer, make sure that you ask those questions. Some of these interviews, they, at least I think the least time that they would usually take is 30 minutes. And sometimes they might have taken a lot of your time. But make sure at least you get to ask at least one question, the most important one. Just look at your list of questions and figure out the most important one. But make sure you ask one question. Don't just let it go just like that. Don't think that, oh, because it's an interview, you are also interviewing them the way they are interviewing you. So even if there is no more time, you should at least ask one question, and you should at least tell them that, oh, they were able to ask you questions, like you had some things that you needed clarity on, and you should be able to get answers to your questions. Now the interview is over, everybody has said, they've given you next steps, they've told you, oh, we'll get back to you in about a week. The ones that actually do get back to you, they get back to you in about a week, and then you guys have said your goodbyes. It doesn't end there. It does not end there. Once that is done, within the next 30 minutes, while you're trying to collect yourself, while you're trying to calm down back after all of the nervousness of the interviews and all of the talking, please send a thank you note to the interviewer. Try to send a thank you message, a thank you email to the interviewers, thanking them for their time on the interview. If there was anything that they weren't clear on during the interview, you can also ask them. If there's any other information that they need from you, they should let you know that you're looking forward to getting a response from them in the next week or so, based on the timeline that they have given you, that they were going to get back to you on. Just send a thank you message to them. It also helps you stay on top of their minds after the interview. And if they don't come back to you within the time frame that they've given you, send a follow-up email to them that I was expecting like a response from you guys around this time, but it is now way past that, and I just wanted to follow up on it to find out if there's a feedback on your interview, etc, etc. You can also, after the interview, reflect on the kind of answers that you gave, reflect on any areas of improvement that you have seen. Especially if you are taking multiple interviews, whatever you learn from interview A can be applied to interview B, and so on and so forth. This will help you during your interviews. If you've watched to this point, you're a superstar. If you have any questions about interviews, or like I said in the beginning, if there's any part that you want me to speak more on, if there are like how to answer specific questions that you want me to speak more on, please let me know. I will be creating videos to answer those questions. Thank you very much for watching to this point. And don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to turn on push notifications Don't forget to turn on post notifications so that you don't miss out on any other videos that I drop. Thank you guys. Bye. Bye. Bye guys.